Hey everyone, James Niggemeyer here. Thank you for tuning back into the YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about a tip that will help you catch more frogfish. When it comes to fishing frogs, I think a lot of people talk about how they have missed blow-ups and lose fish and fish coming off and different things like that. And a lot of that has to do with your setup. And I want to share a tip with you that I think will help you catch more fish on a frog. Before I get right into it, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please consider doing that, because really it's one of the best things you can do to help grow the channel, and I'd certainly appreciate it. So frog fishing, easily one of my top 3 favorite ways to catch a bass. And if it's not evidenced by this frog box, well, I mean, it's a double decker and it's just chock full of them. As you can see, I mean, I can barely get it closed without crimping legs. But if there's one thing that I can tell you to help you catch more fish on a frog, it's considering rod length. Now this pertains to if you're fishing around like lily pads or grass mats or just matted vegetation, any type of like rice or reeds, anything where you're pulling your frog over the river and through the woods, then you're going to want to use a longer rod. That is probably the biggest factor in hooking and landing fish around some of the heaviest cover that you're going to come in contact with. Now when it comes to isolated cover like a laydown or around bushes, different things like that, you know, more of an open water type scenario, then I definitely think I like to go shorter, because those open water type scenarios are generally going to be where I'm going to apologize for the wind here, pushing the camera around, plus any type of wind noise always seems to start blowing every time I do a video. So anytime I'm fishing a frog around more isolated targets and open water, that's when I'm going to go with, say, a 7.3, 7.2, and some people even use a shorter one. I know years ago I used a 7-footer, but anytime I'm going to go, again, fish matted vegetation over the river through the woods, pads, reeds, any type of thing where I'm literally casting over stuff or bringing it through a passage amongst a lot of vegetation or different things that could get my frog hung up, I'm definitely going to go 7'4" and longer. What I mean by longer, 7'4" to 7'6". 7'4" is probably the one, that's probably the longest one that I'll use. But if I was fishing like heavy matted milfoil and heavy matted hydrilla for like big bass, say in Florida or Texas or something like that, I might go to a 7'6", just because of leverage. I'm not a math guy, but I know that the longer the rod, the more leverage you get. What it seems like to be the biggest or pivotal point is once the fish takes it and you set the hook, if he's around something, he can usually get the leverage to, you know, kind of shake that free. But it also, the vegetation absorbs a lot of that hook set power. Say this is like a lily pad stock, and your line is around that, fish is over here, and you're pulling and it's around that. That lily pad stock is going to absorb a lot of your, you know, your intensive hook set power, hook point to the fish's mouth. So by having a longer rod, you can apply more pressure at a distance, even if your line is around cover. Now, this is going without saying that you're going to use braided line. I mean, I'm hoping you're using braided line. I'm usually using at least 50-pound test braided line, sometimes 65. But I think 50 will get you through a lot of it. I rarely, if ever, break 50-pound test, but that's really my tip. If you want to lose less frogfish as it pertains to casting over vegetation in and through thick covers, then generally go with a longer rod. And obviously I would say at least a heavy to extra heavy, depending upon the rod manufacturer. The one that I'm using is a Phoenix M1 7'4" heavy. And then generally when I'm going to a shorter rod, it's a 7.2 or 7.3, and it usually runs somewhere between a medium heavy to an extra heavy, depending upon the model of Phoenix rod. And always, always, always an 8:3-to-1 gear ratio reel, or at least a 7. I'm gonna say it's 7 or higher gear ratio reel. And you know me, I'm all about that Bass Pro Shops Johnny Morris Platinum Signature Series reel and an 8:3-to-1 gear ratio. Does like the lion's share, probably 95% of the fishing that I do. So that's just a quick tip. Lose less frogfish. Hopefully you guys got something out of this. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and drop a comment down below, and be sure to check out my description section. There you'll have links to my merch, Team Niggemeyer Fishing. Got some interesting things there. Also, there will be my Facebook, Instagram, my website if you want to learn more about me or my guide service or anything like that. And then there's going to be a discount code for Amphibia Eye Gear. Floating ANSI rated lenses. ANSI rated meaning safety rating lenses. They're not glass, so they're not going to shatter. If something comes back and hits you in the lens, it's not going to shatter, not going to cause more damage to your eyes. Take care of your eyes. Hey, if you get any extra time, hit the water. Have some fun. Until next time, thanks for watching and good fishing.